Well, happy Earth Day, Silka.
Happy Earth Day, Joe.
We wanted to share just a few quick ideas about how to tell a story. Earth Day is coming up. And Silka, I think you had a couple ideas about maybe just a little bit of the background of how and why we tell stories around Earth Day, what it does for our children, what it does for our own minds.
Yeah. Well, Earth Day is so much about the celebration of life, this gift to be alive here on Earth and to actually experience our aliveness through smell, taste, sight, all of our senses, and our ability as human beings to, bring it into our environment here, wheatgrass, pansies, the living earth where we grow flowers in, and even eggs that we can blow out and decorate in funny ways. There's so much beauty all around, and coming into relationship with that beauty. That's what we want to do on Earth Day, and celebrate the Earth Mother, and celebrate our life and our relationship with her.
And I think something that we talk about a lot is what we call the storytelling loop. And the storytelling loop is basically where you start with an object. It really could be anything. It could be a little doll. It could be a little tuft of grass. It could be just a little flower that you have in your hand. And what we do is we tell a story, not necessarily about this exact flower, but maybe a flower like this, or a story about the grass, or a creature that lived in the grass. And what it does is it plants that story in the very real thing that our child can then experience, because it draws their imagination in. And so we're going to give a little example of that now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Would you like to begin?
Sure. Once upon a time, there was a little grass fairy, and the grass fairy was looking everywhere. The ground was brown, and the grass fairy thought, oh, I hope spring is coming and I can take care of all of the grass children that are going to be born. And she stumbled upon a door and walked into a house where she found a pot full of grass.
Oh boy, I know this place, she thought. She said, this must belong to the gnome. And I think his name is Billy. Gnome Billy loves to cook a pot of grass. And a pot of grass is delicious to some, but it is not delicious to everybody. So the little fairy thought, I'm gonna play a trick on little gnome Billy. And so she took out a little flask from her apron, and she had a little bit of liquid inside. And so she poured it into the pot. And what happened?
Well, the grass grew and grew and grew and turned into golden grain overnight.
And when little gnome Billy came home, he thought he was going to have a pot of grass stew to eat, but his house was completely overtaken by this grass that had grown all the way through his roof, and he had these golden shoots rising up from his living room, and he started climbing them and climbing them and climbing them to get to the top. But it took so hard, his hand was going over each one, and he couldn't get to the top. And as he was climbing,
he saw a dragonfly. And he said, dragonfly, help me out. I need to get all the way to the top. I need to see what's happening. I planted this grass, and now I came home and I found these golden stalks. Come, take me to the way top. I can't get there on my own. Dragonfly gladly helped and said, jump on my back. I'll take you way to the top. You wouldn't believe what he found on the way top of the golden stalks.
well, Billy was on the back of that dragonfly, And I don't know if you've ever been on the back of a dragonfly, but those things are like, they go back and forth and this way and that and all over. And Billy was holding on and having a good time. And they get to the top. Now, if you've ever seen grass and the way it grows, it's golden. And the heads lean over just slightly. But little beknown to the little grass fairy is that a little vining plant had grown up in between those golden stalks of wheat, and at the very top were these beautiful dark red flowers.
They were morning glories, weren't they?
They were.
Oh my goodness. And the grass fairy thought, morning glories, yes indeed, the flowers that are praising the day, each day anew, were planted right there. I put the potion into the bottom of the pot so they would grow along. I wonder if Billy the Gnome also will find the golden grains that are as big as a loaf of bread.
Well, he was up there and he climbed off the dragonfly and was holding on tight. I don't know if you've ever seen those field mice and the way they're holding on to a blade of grass. Whoa! You know, they're about to fall off. And he was holding on like that. And he saw the grain and he reached out and he grabbed one off. And now he was holding just one grain of wheat, which was like a giant loaf of bread to him. And he heard a call from down below, and it was the little grass fairy. And she said, hello, hello, here's somebody up there. Is somebody up there? And Gnome Billy called out, it's me, it's Billy. Oh, Billy, said the little grass fairy. Come on down, I have something to show you. So he held on to the piece of grass like a fireman going on a pole and landed at the bottom. And in his hand, he had that grain of wheat. And the little grass fairy looked at the grain of wheat and she said, there's just a little bit of hot water left in the pot. And if you steam it, it'll be like a big loaf of bread to the little fairies. So they steamed it on the pot and they shared it.
And they celebrated Earth Day together, as you can only imagine.
So if you find a special little glass bottle and you can make a little potion out of it, what you can do is go outside and find some grass. And you might, if you put a little bit of that potion inside, you might find that you'll have a similar adventure too.
Yeah, you never know. It's worth giving it a try.
Worth a try. Happy Earth Day.
Happy Earth Day.